welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you're all having a wonderful Wednesday. We're, of course, coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. Sorry, I almost swallowed my tongue there. Wherever it is for you, ladies and gentlemen, Darren, I hope it is just right. And with me, as always, is the man himself. He's ready to talk that college football, if you can't tell.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful and amazing.
There's a big game on Saturday.
Absolutely, Mr. Drew Gwillem. Drew, how are you doing, man?
I'm excited.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
I am.
All right.
I'm excited to talk about it, to watch it, to think about it.
Are you excited to talk about it? 'Cause it is here. I don't know if you saw. It is here. It is on the paper. I promise you, it is.
I'm so excited. I'm going to talk crap to you today. Good work.
Well, if that's the case,
good
then
job.
Good
job. It's on the.
Then we're gonna get going then. So, Drew, are you ready
Put the game of the century on here?
Could be. Could very well be. But
man,
before we get to it, man, are you ready to talk some shop?
Let's do it.
Let's do it then, folks. So we're gonna kick this first part off. We're gonna talk about the Bears. Unfortunately, they took another hard hit on this one against the Falcons at the very end, 27-24 final score. Unfortunate as it seems to be the case for the Bears. Another very winnable game for them, but just came at the end due to some unfortunate luck that came their way. But nevertheless, there was still some favorably good moments in this. But obviously, there seems to be more, I would say, to scrutinize with this game a little bit more with what we saw from guys like Fields and all these other guys and stuff. So I guess the big question to kind of start it off with, Drew, is obviously watching this game from the blanket of it all, man. What did you think about the game? What did you think about how the Bears did? Like, how do you think the Falcons even did? I mean, what were your thoughts on this game as a whole?
Kind of what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed they didn't get the win because that's a team they very well could have beaten, just like last week with the Lions. So, I'm not like brokenhearted about it. It's not going to ruin my week. I would like to see my team win some, but again, it's the same story for the most part. They've been fun to watch still, even with them losing.
Yeah. So
that's been a positive. They should have won this game.
Mm-hmm.
They should have. And I don't know whether it's been the end of the game play calling that hasn't worked out well. Yeah. It hasn't seemed like it's been great.
Yeah.
They haven't come across with the best calls to get the games won.
Right. Yeah, this is what leads us into the first part of it, because it seems in this game for sure, Justin Fields did what he did. Of course, he made a lot of plays. He played very well, threw a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, almost had another 100-yard game for passing and rushing, which, whether he did or didn't, this was still a pretty good effort by him. Obviously, at the end, he throws the interception that kind of cost him the game. At the same time, too, he took kind of a beating on this as well, 4 sacks. He also had, I believe, from what I heard from the advanced metrics or whatever it is, he had 20 hits that were ones that came from scrambling out, looking for the pass, and then trying to make a run. So he took some big hits in this game as well.
Which isn't... Got to cut down on that.
Yes, absolutely. And that's kind of been like obviously when I've been on a big, not rant or anything, but when I said what I said, this is one of the things that I was very concerned about. And now we know that his non-throwing shoulder is now injured. Separated shoulder. Sounds like minimal torn, but still torn ligaments inside the shoulder. But it sounds like it's minimal. Now becomes the question of obviously
pain tolerance.
Yes, pain tolerance, and can he play through it? Obviously, it's not your throwing shoulder, so it's your left shoulder. So can you play through it?
Still affects your throwing motion some.
Absolutely,
and everything else that he does so well.
Yes, and but this leads now to the question of obviously Fields has kind of been sort of ad-libbing, if you will, in this offense a lot because the line's not that good and the receivers have been not getting open as much. But it seems like between him and Getsy trying to, I think, still call his own offense now, there's becoming this tear potentially between well, who's more right? It almost seems like is becoming, I guess, the question, right? Luke Getsy, I guess, called 2 designed run plays there at the end for Fields. He looked gassed. He looked tired, and people are like,
from what I understood, the first play was a design run with him. The second one was supposed to be a draw handoff to Montgomery.
Yeah,
and it was just like a miscommunication, busted play that led him to run it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And
still, in the 2-minute drill, I'd rather not see them come out with runs on the first 2 plays.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. But and that's like the big thing, right? Is that Getsy's offense I was watching the score, and Perkins and Spiegel were talking with Trent Dilfer, who we know is a quarterback, played for the Ravens, won a Super Bowl with them, all that stuff. And he has his own quarterback camp, and he coaches and all that stuff. He said that Luke Getsy's offense, as complex as it can be, it really is one that you can learn the simple, basic passing plays of it. It just takes some work. Now, again,
then why the hell is Chase Claypool having such a difficult time with it?
And that's becoming the issue now, right? Is this becoming an issue with Fields ad-lib? And this is where I ask you the question. Do you think that this is becoming an issue where Fields ad-libbing is taking more control over potentially Luke Getsy's offense? Do you think that there's like, in terms of like a miscommunication between the two of them trying to get something done? Or is this, you think, Luke Getsy kind of saying, you just go make plays and I'll try to convert stuff to help you? How do you see this kind of playing out, you think, between Fields and Getsy at this point?
I think it plays out exactly how it has already. You saw the offense the way it was the start of the season and how it has had to mold into what it is now.
Yes.
And that's what they're going to have to do going forward as well to keep Fields healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So less design runs for the quarterback. I don't think it's a problem. The offense is a product of the talent that they have.
Yeah.
And they're doing what they need to do to put points on the board.
Right.
And this is the way it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily so many design runs for the quarterback. Let him drop back. You're going to get those scrambles on pass plays a ton anyways because the offensive line can't block long enough for him.
Right.
So you're going to see that anyways. So I'd rather see less design runs for him going forward, more pass plays, and then give him a chance to throw those balls if he has time and then scramble when he needs to.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like at this point, look, nothing against the Bears fans, but the Bears are 3-8, right?
Right.
No playoff seems to be in sight.
No chance.
No chance whatsoever, which listen, we're going to get to it here soon. In a way, it's very good, right? But at the same time, now is the time when you want to say, open the playbook up. Let's look at the passing plays. Let's get into a rhythm. Whether these are the guys that you're going to be going with in the long term or not for this organization, because Claypool has one more year. Mooney's got one more year. St. Brown's only got the 1 year, and then he's out after this, and then you have to try and see if maybe you can reload the receiving core with new guys, right? These guys are only going to be around for a set amount of time. So now's the time to get Fields into the rhythm of what that offense is going to look like when he's dropping back, sitting in the pocket, throwing the ball, going on a rollout, doing play action, being able to get into that rhythm of throwing the football more consistently. Because, again, we saw this with Cam Newton. He uses athleticism so much as the first 3 years, I would say, and then all of a sudden they're like, let's just make that the offense. And how did that work for him? He got banged up. He got hurt. He was not as accurate as Justin Fields, and that's where Justin has the opportunity to be something better, but also stick with the program at the same time.
I think
do what you need to do.
A lot with Cam too, and you're seeing it with Fields. Remember how, like, Cam Newton would get those not necessarily super late hits all the time.
Yes.
Like he would go to slide and then a guy would come over the top and hit him. That would happen all the time and he would not get those calls. That's happening a lot with Fields as well.
Absolutely.
And that's not helping him stay healthy because those flags start getting thrown a lot more, or every time it's called for it.
Yeah.
Then players are going to be less susceptible to want to try and do that so they don't get flagged.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we've seen that numerous times, right? The star players obviously get their just dues. Obviously, Darnell Mooney, I believe it was Mooney that was saying, like, I'd really like to see them throw the flags more for Justin Fields so he can kind of be saved a little bit, which I think will come with time. You know, as your star rises, you get those opportunities. And
at the same time, though, a flag's a flag.
Right.
Pull it and throw it. If it's late, it's late.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think what you saw was a penalty, even if it is a late flag, throw it and say I think it was a penalty. Yeah. If they want to challenge it, let them challenge it. It's on them.
I don't care if it's a flag against Tom Brady, it's a flag against Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Should be the same.
Absolutely. And
there shouldn't be any gray area there.
Right. I mean, and this is one of those things where like people have said like automatic review, maybe something you want to consider. Not obviously that slows the game down and nobody wants that.
Those quick reviews like they already have.
Yes.
Like touchdowns are reviewed. Yep. All touchdowns are reviewed. So they're checking it upstairs or in New York, wherever it is.
Absolutely.
So you can have quick ones like that. Obviously, some are going to take more time than others, but that's very easily done. They could just call down to the refs and it's simple.
Yeah, you have access to that technology. Use it to your advantage.
Get the calls right.
Absolutely. But on top of that, obviously, we talked about the Bears are in a losing position. Well, that losing position doesn't necessarily come with a loss per se, right? Being bad doesn't always mean bad. In this case, being bad can also mean getting better potentially for the Bears because as of right now, where they sit is they're currently in the 3rd overall pick spot in the 2023 NFL Draft, which I'm sure a lot of fans are very happy about. What's actually even more interesting for those who don't know, they're actually tied right now with the Panthers for that 2nd overall pick. So they have the potential to actually move up an extra pick if the Panthers somehow, some way squeak out another win. And then it's them and the Texans, and then the Texans somehow squeak, which I don't think that's going to happen. Unless Kyle Allen, who's replacing Davis Mills, is going to come in and have a super field day. I don't think that's going to happen.
Doubtful.
Very doubtful.
I think that seems like a pretty big mess there.
Yes. But the Panthers seem like a legit opportunity to surprise a win because they have enough good players.
And with that 2 or 3 pick, gives this team a very, very incredible opportunity to gather a ton of picks.
Yes.
A ton of great picks.
Mm-hmm.
And still get amazing players, but do something. Like I heard Mike Greenberg on the radio today saying something that the Bears have an opportunity to do what the Jets did last year in the draft. Mm-hmm. And be ahead of the game already because they already have a much better quarterback than the Jets do.
Yeah.
But they can turn this thing around in one season with the cap space and the draft picks that they're going to have. Plus being early in the draft, being able to trade back some picks and have somebody move up to get a quarterback in their spot. You can clean up.
Absolutely.
Clean up and still get awesome players. Or you take an awesome player that you need at the 2 or 3 spot.
Yeah.
Which is very fine as well.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, at that top 5 of the draft, I mean, there is a lot of good names out there. Right now projected, obviously, as a 1-2 punch at quarterback for the Texans and the Panthers, with C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young being the guys. For the 3rd pick, though, there is a litany of players that are being suggested there. The top 2 right now are actually, as far as I've seen, have been defensive linemen, Jalen Carter from Georgia and Will Anderson Jr. from Bama. And Will Anderson Jr. from the start, right with him, you're talking about probably one of the generational pass rushers on par, I would say, with like Micah Parsons. This is a man who is 6'4", 250, runs a 4.4 flat on the 40, long arms, lean body, has good bend, can get around to offensive linemen. Obviously, for a guy like Eberflus, he would love him because that's your edge rusher that sets the tone. You couldn't get Mac Jones and Robert Quinn to get there. So this is your guy that you say, you're the franchise on the defense side of the ball. You're the guy that we're kind of leveling everything off for. So we build around you for defense, right? Jalen Carter from Georgia, he's your classic 3 technique. He's Ndamukong Suh, if you will, right? 6'3", 300 pounds, pass rush, run stop. He does it all. Some have said he could be like an Aaron Donald type. I don't know if that's a rare air to say.
That would be something.
That would be something, but he is probably by far the best player at Georgia, and we've seen that defense and what they can do. And he's been a huge part of why that team's been so successful. If you don't know, he's actually the one that blocked the kick against Bama in the national title that really kind of gave Georgia a good lead on that. So
I saw some mock draft somewhere, one early one, where the the Bears took him at 2,
Yes,
or 3, whatever it was, and then got Jackson Smith and Jigba.
that would be interesting.
If that was possible,
that would be very good. Smith and Jigba is falling right now because he hasn't played a lot. So Keyshawn Booty is from LSU is another one that I've seen the Bears take in the second round. Right now, if you were to say the Bears were going to look at a receiver,
really like Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, he's got another year, and that's what sucks.
Right.
But he's everything like his dad, and then some.
Then try and trade up for him next year.
Yes, that would be.
Field his Ohio State receivers.
Yeah. Although that Georgia tight end would be nice too. I know Cole Kmet's done well, but Brock Bowers, man, I love that kid. That kid is outstanding. But
too early for a tight end.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's projected right now like the top player in that draft class next year.
Wow.
Because that's how good a tight end he is at this point, which I think he would be the first in 30 years, I think somebody said, or 40 years. But the receivers, obviously, top of the draft. Quentin Johnston's always been talked about. Obviously, I think the Bears would need to trade back, which I think would be smart if you're going to go get a receiver.
Right.
I understand that completely. Johnston is not a numbers guy per se, but you watch him play. He's 6'4", 215, like a 46-inch vert. He's like a basketball player playing wide receiver, but really good hands, really good route running. He does it all very well. It's just that TCU team doesn't really need
no
to
more Kevin Whites. We need some guaranteed
players.
This dude's going to come in and flash immediately.
Exactly, and that's why Johnston may be a little bit of a risk kind of thing. I personally have thought that the Bears should trade maybe like with said Eagles, see if they can get their 2 first-round picks. I know they've got a later first-round pick at this point, but to say you've got still a top first-round draft pick, you maybe go get, like, say, Jordan Addison from USC, who I think has been a proven talent at wide receiver, especially this year. He's been incredible in that USC offense, and I think he fits what Fields could do. He's got speed, good route running, great hands, 6'2", 175. He's got it all. And then in the later parts of the draft, you go build that offensive line if you need to, because that's going to, I think, still be a big part of it. Or you go find your next defensive player if you need it, right? Build your defensive line out. Or find another wide receiver. There's going to be plenty of them in this year's draft. So the opportunities for the Bears are going to be endless, but I think a lot of people are kind of siding with what you've been saying, Drew, and I think that's the way that a lot of people are leaning is you get that top pick, you talk to these teams that have multiple first-rounders, and you trade out of that top pick, get multiple picks, because the Jets have clearly been able to rebuild well. We see what Miami's been able to do. You load up with these draft picks, you hit on these guys, you have long-term success set up for the next 5-10 years potentially if you play it right. Not to mention they have all the salary cap as well.
Quarterback on his rookie contract still, that's when you can try and win some things.
Absolutely, and that's the right time to do it, especially with a guy like Fields who may be projecting in the high levels, which this is where this kind of comes into play, because I'm sure you may have heard of this, but if you haven't heard it, folks, I talked about this a little bit today and yesterday on Fake Football Guys. The NFL Players Association has officially filed a grievance with the NFL League and its teams, with the grievance basically saying that the NFL has colluded to keep NFL players from basically signing fully guaranteed contracts, which we have obviously talked very much in length of Mr. Deshaun Watson. And we talked about his new deal that he got with the Browns when he was traded to the Cleveland Browns. And now because of that, there's a lot of players that are now seeking that contract. Now, from where I sit from watching this, if this grievance is something that becomes a reality, this certainly, I think, even with this grievance now, puts the pressure on these NFL teams to say that we may need to structure the contracts differently. And this could change the landscape, I think, of how rosters get built, because now you have to put more money towards the guaranteed for the players. So for you, Drew, obviously on the base surface value of what this kind of is, it's just a grievance. It's not anything too major just yet. But do you think that this grievance, even of itself, could potentially affect the NFL and, let's say, even for the Bears, how they could structure their roster, considering you have $130 million in cap? Well, now you have to maybe commit more of that money to guaranteed money for some of these top players, per se. Where do you see this kind of sitting for the NFL and the Bears more than anything?
Yeah, just an adjustment.
Okay.
Like anything else, you have to adjust to you adjust to the times.
Right.
Okay. And whether it's with contracts or the size and speed of the player, bigger, stronger, faster now.
Yeah.
Guys are getting more money than you could ever think would happen.
Absolutely.
Times change, have to adapt with the times. If things get passed, you have no choice.
Yeah.
It's what you have to roll with. So I think it would take some adjusting, and yeah, it can affect. Maybe I can't go get this guy now that I could have beforehand. So yeah, it will affect things, whether good or bad, but maybe it could help out at certain ways too. So
yeah,
you never know.
Absolutely.
Just organizations having to rework how they do some things.
Yeah, I only bring it up because when I thought of it in the perspective of the Bears, like, okay, this year you've got Orlando Brown Jr., Jack Conklin, and Mitch Morse, these top offensive linemen. Well,
that's where I'd like to. Sorry to cut you off, but like that's where I'd like to see them spend some of that money is on that offensive line, and then draft elsewhere.
Yes,
where needed. That's what I would like to see. Right,
and this would be the year to do it. The receivers are weak.
Right,
the draft has a lot of young receivers. Grow with your quarterback. Get the experienced offensive lineman to protect young quarterbacks.
Step in, talent guy that's proven. They're going to do that. Give them, whatever deal they want to give to them, but they need to. I feel like they need to spend that money or a good amount of that money on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I just thought of that. Like, okay, I'm not saying get all three of them,
right?
But okay, Mitch Morse, that's a huge upgrade at center. That's a veteran center that helps your young quarterback. By the way, centers are very important to quarterbacks. I don't know how many people know that. Ask Peyton Manning how important Jeff Saturday was to his career. Seriously. It means a lot. So getting Mitch Morse and getting Orlando Brown Jr., at one point I thought that's great. But now if they're both asking for that big guaranteed money up front, that may become an issue. And you may have to say, okay, what do we prioritize? Do we feel good with our tackles? What do we need to upgrade more? Do we maybe need the center position more? Do we maybe need to think about, well, where else do we need to spend the money? And that's where I think that it could become a quote-unquote problem, if you will, where you have to suddenly say, we couldn't spend the money the way we wanted to. Although, in fairness, I don't think the Bears should go out and spend all $130 million in one free agent. You got 2 years worth of offensive line this year, and then if you want more wide receivers, you can get them next year with Higgins and Davis if they don't sign big contracts, and other guys as well that are coming out next year, and defensive players too.
Right.
So I just point this out to say that for the Bears and for NFL teams, this now becomes a very tricky part because teams now are going to go places where maybe the salary cap is larger. It may not just be about, I want to win, and that becomes something that agents and teams are really going to have to think about. I mean, talk about Lamar, right? Lamar wants to get that big guaranteed contract like the Deshaun Watson, right? And the NFL's, I'm sure, going to argue, well, none of these guys did anything like Deshaun Watson, but the NFL is going to try to do whatever it can to try and pay the lowest dollar bill it possibly can because it doesn't want to run into problems with the cap and other things like that. There's no luxury tax.
The NFL should stop paying scumbags.
Yes, that would be. I mean, listen, the NFL teams have already kind of said, like, yeah, this is Cleveland's fault. You did this. You paid a guy who really didn't deserve the money at all. You paid him a fully guaranteed contract
Not even a little.
I know. Because you had no other decision. You had no other choice because you're like, this is the best way we have to win. It's just, it's unbelievable. Our boy Frankie Shaker said also, too, he said, feels like the front office needs revamped for the Bears. They've had pieces to work with, but their office is holding the team back. But could be said out here, too. I mean, yeah. In
front
Cleveland,
office just got revamped.
Yeah, I was. I think what you may mean, Frankie, if maybe I'm hearing this correctly, I think you mean ownership.
Yes,
ownership. That is my huge fear because Poles has the GM spot. Phillips is going away soon, so they'll get a new president eventually.
Yep.
It's the McCaskies that have the money, and they're like, well, I don't know if we need to spend all. Maybe we only spend like $50 million this year. No, spend a little bit more than $50 million. Like a little bit more. It's okay.
And I can really see them building in Arlington, moving over there, and then selling.
You know what? I never. Yeah, Frankie says, yeah, more so. Yeah, I figured that's kind of what you meant, man. And trust me, I think Virginia's health is not doing well, and I don't wish anything against her, but unfortunately she's going to pass eventually. I don't think we've talked about this, I don't think George is very fond of being the sole owner of the Bears. I don't think he likes being on that little office, board, whatever you want to call it, with the Ryan family and all that. He'll look to sell. The Ryans may buy it, or somebody else may come in and buy it. Hopefully, they're the right people to do it, and hopefully they just say, Ryan Poles, what do you need? Let's get this thing done. How you want to build this thing out? And that would be the best move possible, because right now the McCaskies, they have a tight grip over the team. So, but we'll see what happens. But Drew, let's get to it, man. They got a game still. We don't know what's going to be happening with Justin Fields just yet. I'm going to go ahead and probably say that maybe they're going to be sitting with him and maybe going to Trevor Siemian.
I think that might be the smartest way to go this week.
Yeah, maybe. I think he may try to play it because it's a non-throwing shoulder.
Right.
Good on you. Obviously, that looks good for him amongst the team. I would just hope that if you're going to play, then offensive line, you have got to do your job.
He's got to be able to protect himself.
Yes.
They have to be able to protect him.
And if he feels any kind of major pain, get out.
Yes.
Anything like that.
And maybe, my fantasy team really wants him to play and play well.
Yeah.
But I understand there's bigger things at work here.
Absolutely. And the future is to be considered.
I would rather see many, many years of a franchise quarterback than a game against the Jets with 3 wins on the season so far.
Yes, a Jets team that, by the way,
has a very scary pass rush.
Has a very scary corner.
Yep.
But now has a brand new quarterback, as we've learned. Mike White will be getting the start.
It'd be the Mike White and Trevor Siemian show.
What a game, huh? What a game.
Not compelling television.
Well, Drew, the Jets are right now 4.5-point favorites. The over-under's at 39.5. How do you see this one going from your perspective?
It's hard to say. It's so up in the air with you're not getting much on how Justin, you know what he's feeling, because he told us how he's feeling. Yes. Couldn't play today if the game was today, but he said, well, it's not today. We have 4 days, and we'll see then.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's up in the air. If Fields plays, I think it stays somewhat closer.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because he's awesome and amazing.
Yes.
He's like Superman out there. Less design runs, though, please.
Yeah.
If Siemian plays, I don't think this is good. I think he gets killed because he's not running the ball.
No.
So he's standing back behind this offensive line trying to throw, and we know how that is going to end.
Right.
Him getting killed.
Yes.
So I'm going to take the Jets.
Okay.
I'm going to take him. I'm just going to say a full touchdown.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
I honestly, I think the Jets could probably, we've seen Mike White put up some points with the Jets before.
We have.
It's possible, but at the same time, we really don't know what we're getting out of him.
No, we don't.
So it could go either way, but I think it's going to be, I think this game is not going to be filled with points for either side.
You're not calling a shootout?
No.
But what if, come on, a Trevor Siemian, Mike White shootout? You wouldn't see that coming?
No.
Okay, all right. That's fine. I'm gonna take the Jets on this. I don't mean to be disrespectful on anybody's terms, but I think it's gonna be a full 2 touchdown for the Jets. And that's just because Trevor Siemian, I just don't think is very good. I think Mike White, though, has some sort of connection with these guys. He's shown it before. I think he has a good understanding of what Robert Saleh's offense is supposed to look like. Obviously, Zach Wilson, he's got his own things going on, his own issues or whatever. But I like
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect. And we'll get into him here in a little bit. But I just think Mike White can still lead this offense pretty well. And I'm going to say 2 touchdowns. And I think he can hit the over. I definitely think there's a good chance it can hit the over. But it's not because the Bears are going to score a lot of points, I don't think, folks, unfortunately. I think I said on the Blow the Whistle today when we did the radio show, I said I think the Jets can win this one 35-13 against the Bears. So I know that's a pretty big margin, but I'll say at least 2 touchdowns for the Jets on this one. And I'll say the over for it at least. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the Bears talk here, ladies and gentlemen. When we do come back, we're just going to run the table on it because we got NFL recap and college football recap. Plus, the pick six for both of them. That's coming up next here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. Welcome back, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. I'm still Andrew Valentin. I'm still here with the beautiful man himself, Mr. Drew Gwillem. Drew, more football, man.
More football, more better.
More football. Are you ready to talk about the NFL? Are you ready to talk college football after?
Yes, please.
Are you ready to do this then?
What does yes, please mean?
I'm just want to double down to make sure, man, you know?
Okay, I lied. I'm going to give you crap.
Oh, okay, all right. I knew it. I knew it was
Yes,
coming.
please means yes, please.
Oh, okay.
More
all right.
football.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then let's do this, folks. So let's hit the recap, shall we, folks? So this is the NFL, the Week 11 recap, and
Whew.
boy, howdy.
There's some good games.
There were some good games in this one. I was very impressed. So, Drew, these are the top 10 games I had. What do you think about these top 10 games? Are there any others that weren't mentioned? Please, by all means, mention them. What are your thoughts?
Well, we had a lot of close ones, which was fun.
Yeah,
fun to see.
absolutely.
And the absolute ass kicking of Dallas over Minnesota was insane.
You saw that coming, right?
Maybe not to that extent.
Okay.
I thought Dallas would win.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be 40-3.
No.
Like Minnesota didn't even have a chance.
No, not even close. That was a good game by them. Jeez.
Detroit just spanking the Giants.
They looked good.
Detroit 4 in a row now, I think.
3 in a row. 3 in a row.
3 or 4.
Looking to make it 4 in a row. This is going to be a hard one, though.
Yeah. I think that's a tall task on Thanksgiving for them.
Yes, absolutely.
But, thinking Green Bay was maybe going to pull something out, and they go back to looking like big pile of dog crap.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Every second of it. Tennessee looking good. They look pretty good.
You know what, Tennessee, I got to give them, well, first off, Traylon Burks coming back has been
that's
huge for them.
Big deal.
In that offense. Now clearly showing, I think there's something clicking there. But I know I've been critical of Ryan Tannehill. I still don't think he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. No. But he's a good leader, and leadership is obviously very important. So I think he helps that team out a lot for sure.
Pittsburgh for staying in it.
I was shocked by
with
that.
Cincinnati. I didn't think that they were going to be all that close, but
yeah,
they're getting a little bit of something going there.
Yeah, they got something cooking now in Pittsburgh. I think they've been
able to run the ball a little bit more the last couple of weeks.
That's
finding George Pickens all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Still don't really have much of an offensive line.
But
Pickett's getting killed.
Even when Pickett's been able to sit in a clean pocket, he can make those throws. Yeah. He and Pickens have that connection now is building momentum, which is good.
Let's see. Probably one of the best ones, Kansas City and the Chargers.
Oh, that was great.
That was an awesome game. It was
great.
Right down to the wire. Like the last two drives between the Chargers and then what was it, 30 seconds left for Kansas City? I'm like, that's too much time.
Yeah,
that's too much time.
If I remember correctly, I think it was like a minute 23, I think, or something like that on the clock.
Yeah.
And everybody in the I had the day off, luckily, and I was sitting in a bar with a bunch of people and chowing down on pizza and everything. And as soon as the Chargers scored the touchdown, you hear a bunch of people, including myself and my buddies, going like, yeah, way too much time for Mahomes. This is over. Chiefs are gonna win this. And some dude yelling in the back, being like I need the Chargers to do. He clearly needed them to win some big money. And some guys like, you're gonna get your heart broken.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Travis Kelce, of course, Travis Kelce,
another 3 touchdown game.
And an incredible game-winning touchdown, and then just a great defensive measure for the Chiefs too, to get that interception at the end to like seal the deal. That they've got momentum going. They're in a groove right now. The Chiefs look unbeatable. But any others that kind of sprung to you?
Cleveland stuck with Buffalo some, which good for them.
Jacoby Brissett, man, he's not shied away.
He's kept them hanging around enough to, be in it once they get their scum back.
Yeah, he's I was saying to some people, I'm like, boy, he's really giving these receivers momentum for when good old chocolate starfish does come back eventually.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. That's like he really deserves the credit.
First game back against Houston too.
Oh man. I would have put that on the list, but I feel like I know how that's gonna go. And even I'm just very intrigued on it. I'm going to watch that game most likely, or try to watch it just mostly for the fact that I just want to see how his reception comes.
See him get booed.
I'm guessing boos. I'm guessing batteries. I'm guessing whatever people can throw at him, and then some. So
yeah, should
be interesting to watch. But I mean, all right, I'm going to talk about it because you've mentioned the Jets and the Patriots thing. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you think you might be. Just take responsibility, Zach Wilson. The fact that you threw for 77 yards, 9 for 22, had like -6 yards or something like that in the fourth quarter.
Terrible.
You can't do that. You can't do that. I believe, referred to him as a certain quarterback, or you said you heard somebody.
I heard someone refer to him as Cade McNown.
Oh, God.
A spoiled brat. Has the talent, but
yes. For those who don't know, Cade McNown,
not a leader, not a good player overall.
Cade McNown, a first-round draft pick that incredibly busted out of the league, and unfortunately,
he didn't even start a full season. I don't think
so. Well, the worst part was, for Bears fans who don't know, the Bears actually traded a first-round draft pick for that guy at one point, and boy, that didn't work out very well. Nope. Same old. But I've said that I think he's suffering from what I'm calling Manziel madness, where he just was told how great he was and how good he was, and he's suffering from the idea that, yeah, you know what, I am great, I am amazing. He and Baker and Johnny Manziel all kind of fall into that same club of, I think I'm something great. By the way, Zach Wilson, if you don't know, his family, one of the most prominent families in Utah, I didn't even know this, his uncle actually started JetBlue. I didn't know that he actually did that. By the way, full disclosure, JetBlue, one of the worst rides I've ever had. Just letting you know right now, it's one of the worst rides I've ever had. And Zach Wilson's brother, I guess, is a very prominent quarterback in Utah now, too. So, kid has a silver spoon in his mouth. He's kind of been given everything. Look, if you want to say Mac Jones sucks, you can certainly say that he sucks, too. But if anything, you can at least say Mac Jones kept them in the fight in that game. He played at least decent enough in that game that it looked like the Patriots have something there. I can't say that. I haven't seen Wilson progress once. I really can't. Other than that, the Rams are in dismay. Good on the Raiders for getting a victory.
Sure.
That's
sure.
I don't know what that says more about. I don't know if that says more for Josh.
The lowest offensive scoring team in the league.
I was gonna say, I don't know what that says. If that says something more for Josh McDaniels or something more for Nathaniel Hackett. I can't tell anymore.
Not sure.
But I mean, yeah, that Chiefs and Chargers game, probably the best of the week. The Lions should be an interesting one going into this week too, because it sounds like Jameson Williams is coming back soon.
Yeah.
That's not confirmed that he will be playing this Thursday, but he's off the PUP list. He's getting into practice, which is good.
His window has been open.
So the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams show could be active. I'm going to say probably in the last 3 games, maybe.
Scary. Could be real scary.
Oh, my God. Are they going to get a new quarterback? Oof, baby. Boy, you're talking about some magic that can happen there. Dan Campbell, I think, still has a job, by the way. I don't think he's getting fired.
I don't think so either.
Let's just be very clear about that. But other than that, Very good week. Oh, yeah, and I guess if we want to mention, Philly barely get out there with a little bit of a scare, but they got it done.
They still got to win. Even the games you struggle, you still got to win.
Yeah, I give it to Nick Sirianni, too. He said that one was for Frank Wright, telling all the Colts fans, because the Colts fans were obviously very frustrated that Frank Wright got fired. They wanted to keep him. He's beloved in Indianapolis, it sounds like, so we'll see what happens there. But, Drew, let's do the pick six, shall we?
We shall.
Then let's do it. We have Thursday football for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Eat food, watch football.
Absolutely. And obviously, Buffalo's playing Detroit. Would have talked about that, but I think we know how that's going to go. We just saw Buffalo in Detroit. By the way, Buffalo not playing in 6 feet of snow, probably best thing. Although it would have been fun to watch that game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Except my favorite thing was
that would
like,
have been fun.
Yeah, except for the fact that Devin Singletary would have probably been, drowned in snow. And I said, no, he wouldn't have drowned. He just wouldn't have been able to attack him because he wouldn't have been able to see him. So that would have made it more fun. Come on. But all right, so we got the Giants at the Cowboys to start it off. Definitely feels like it could be a game of the week type of thing. We know both these teams have certainly been winning. But Drew, Dallas is favored by a full 9. Over-unders at 45. Where are you going with this one?
I'm taking the Cowboys, and I don't think it's necessarily all that close.
Okay.
I mean, division teams playing each other usually play tough against each other.
Giants and Cowboys has always been a good one.
I think some of the Giants getting exposed is finally happening starting last week against the Detroit Lions. I think obviously more of that's going to happen this week against the Cowboys, who just put up 40 points against the 8-win Vikings team.
Yep.
So I think, and the Giants aren't, I don't think, up to par with the Vikings. Even though the Vikings may be slightly not as good as the record shows.
A little bit overhyped.
I think they are a little slightly.
Okay.
But I'm going to take the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys by 12.
Oh, okay.
And I think this one, I think it can hit the over.
All right. I like that. Oh man, this is... You know what? I think I will go with Dallas as well. These are two teams that obviously do different things, right? Dallas is going to clearly throw it on you. The Giants are trying to run it with Saquon Barkley. Well, Dallas has one of the best defenses, so
yep.
I'm going to say Dallas. I'm going to say by 6 because I think the Giants defense can still do some damage. Let's give them some credit. These guys have been getting after it, so the Giants defense, Wink Martindale is very smart, and he knows how to be able to beat guys, so... And Dak is always good for an interception. We also know that. He's always good for at least an interception in a game. So I'll say Dallas at least by 6. I will say I think this could hit the over. I think Saquon, because it's in Dallas. It's on that nice little field they have there in Dallas. Saquon can have himself a day. He's really resurged back as a top running back. So I think there's a good shot he has a day. It's just going to come down to Daniel Jones. But I think we can all agree at this point, he's not your franchise. He's just hanging on by a thread at this point. So that's where I'll sit with that. Next, we've got Patriots at the Vikings. We have Minnesota currently favored by just 2.5. Over-under is 42.5. Drew, who are you taking with this one?
I'm going to take the Vikings here.
Okay.
Well, I just got done saying I think they're
a little bit overhyped.
Yeah. I still think they're a better team than the Patriots. They have much more offense.
Okay.
And not scared of the Patriots putting up points against them. So yeah. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'll say 6 points.
Okay.
And I think this one I'm going to say under.
Okay.
I'm going to say this one goes under.
All right. I like that. I think I may go with the Patriots on this one. And most of that is due to the fact that they seem to have, first off, Matthew Judon has been one of the best pass rushers in this
He's a
league.
beast.
He's incredible. This Patriots defense, they've seemed to have found yet another stud cornerback in Jones. That kid has been playing out of his mind. And look, Mac Jones obviously needs a lot more work. That offense needs a whole lot more work. But the way that they play the game, keeping it on the ground with Ramondre Stevenson and using Damian Harris as much as they can, and little bit by bit passes, I think the Patriots could kind of limit what the Vikings can do. I know Justin Jefferson's very good, but this is Bill Belichick, so I'll take the New England Patriots. I'll take them by 2 points. I'll give them 2 points. But I will say this, it's the over because I think the Vikings can still score some points. But I think the Patriots can find a groove to be able to beat them because as good as this Minnesota defense is, they have their own holes as well. It's not a pitch perfect team by any means. All right, next we've got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals are favored by 1.5, close game. The over-under sitting at 42.5. So, Drew, Bengals Titans, who are you picking on this one?
This one's tricky for me.
Okay.
Because Jamar Chase might be back.
It's true.
Which would be a huge boost.
Currently off IR.
I still think Cincinnati can put up enough points to beat Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I just talked myself into it. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Okay.
I like the 1.5. I think it's going to be real close because Titans are going to do what they do, try and control the game with Derrick Henry, pass to Treylon Burks and whoever else, and do what they've been doing recently, and it's been working, and they've been playing well and still putting up points. So I think the Titans will stick with them, stays close. I'm going to take the over here. I think both sides are going to put some points up.
Okay.
And make for a fun kind of back and forth game.
All right. I like that. I like that a lot. I actually think this could maybe go for game of the week. These two teams have momentum going on their side right now. I am going to take the Bengals. I have the hoodie in the back.
Of course.
I'll say the Bengals by 3. I agree. This is probably a high-scoring game, so I'll also take the over on that. Obviously, Jamar Chase playing, whether he plays or not, could be a big determining factor. But, look, the defensive backs for the Titans have not been good this year. Biard's not been and he's supposed to be one of the best safeties. He's been like a non-factor as far as I'm concerned this year. But Justin Simmons is a very good defensive tackle. He does really good with the pass rush and the run stopping. And they may not have Joe Mixon in this game. That could also be an effect on them as well. So,
well, you look at Samaje Perine catching the football, scoring 3 touchdowns last week.
He is very underrated, but I called him Delaney Walker because he's built like a brick house. Yeah. But he can catch, for some reason, he can just catch the ball really well.
Yeah.
Of course I predicted that. I knew he would score 3 touchdowns. Of course.
Everyone did.
Everybody knew P. Ryan was going to do that. But I think that could certainly be a determining factor in this. But I'll say Bengals by 3. I will definitely say the over on that. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Baltimore Ravens are taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. As we know, the Jaguars have looked pretty good down this stretch. Obviously, they're not winning games. We know Baltimore is pretty dominant right now. Lamar Jackson looking very good. But you never know. The Jaguars have been known to surprise around this end-of-the-year kind of moments. They've been able to come out with some ones. Obviously, it has at times almost cost them picks, believe it or not. But, Drew, Ravens, Jaguars, who are you picking on this one with Baltimore favored by 4 and the over-under at 43.5?
I'm going to take Baltimore. Jacksonville has shown some nice things. They're not quite there yet, obviously. 3-7 record. They're on their way.
Okay.
They're up and coming. They have shown some really nice things. Trevor Lawrence has looked pretty good. The things they've done on offense, I think they're going to be more of a next year, taking that next step and pushing towards something going forward. But that doesn't do much for them this week or this year, and this week against Baltimore. So I like Baltimore. I'm going to say a full touchdown.
Okay.
And I think this one can hit the over too.
Okay, I like that. I will also go with Baltimore. I like the 4. I think I'll take Jacksonville is one that I think can just put up points too. Etienne is obviously, I think, one of the most explosive players we're seeing right now in the league. It only takes him like 10 carries and he can get in the end zone. Not even that sometimes. Christian Kirk has kind of slowed down a little bit, but he's still a very good threat at the receiver position. Zay Jones is very good. Trevor Lawrence is refining himself. But Baltimore's offensive attack, I think, is still there. Roquan going to Baltimore now has also helped them in the run game a lot, so I think that's going to be a prolific matchup as well. Etienne versus Roquan should be a nice little go-at-it one for the both of them. So I'll take Baltimore, but I'll take them on the 4, and I'll also take the over on this as well. This could be a fun game to watch. It could be a nice little shootout, and if Baltimore's not careful, if that defense doesn't remain strong, they could let this one slip away, and that's something they really can't afford at this point. All right, next, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, the Chargers are favored by 4.5. The over-under is at 47.5. Drew, Chargers, Cardinals, who are you picking?
I'm going to go with the Chargers here. They've gotten a little bit healthy, getting Keenan Allen back. Mike Williams went out, re-aggravated his ankle, but Josh Palmer stepped in very nicely for them.
Yeah, he played amazing.
You know, I think even though they've been losing some games, I think the Chargers are still showing some really good things.
Yeah.
Cardinals have been, no matter who's been playing.
Yeah.
They're probably going to get Kyler Murray back, but he hasn't been anything special, so they haven't been great. So I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers by 6 points, and I think this one has the potential to be more of a shootout.
Okay.
But so I'm going to take the over.
Okay. All right. I'm going to definitely take the Chargers, and I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take them by 10. I have no faith in this Arizona team anymore. I think Cliff Kingsbury's lost the locker room. I also think he's lost Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is definitely stepping into diva
territory. I think that thing's getting blown up soon.
Yeah, when you've lost control of the quarterback you supposedly had a relationship with since high school, it's downhill. So I think they're going to lose by 10. And this may hit the under. I don't know if the Cardinals have enough offense maybe to get this going. Because, I mean, are we... Do you know by any chance if Kyler Murray is 100%? Is he coming in?
I'm not sure if he's for sure. But
see, and that's the thing is because if it's Colt McCoy, by the way, can do some things, but it's not as good. So I would just say I think it hits the under then if that's the case, if that is the case. And I think that will be the case because why play Kyler Murray? Just let him sit out the rest of the year and try it again next year, I think. All right, last but not least, we've got Packers at Eagles. Philly is favored by a full touchdown. The over-under's at 46.5. Drew, does this game have any potential to be in the Packers' favor? Who are you picking?
No, not really. Karen's got a broken thumb. Philly.
So he says.
Philly's. I don't see the Packers doing much against Philly. Their defense is really good. I'll take Philly by 10.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go under because I don't think Green Bay scores enough.
All right. I'm going to take Philly by 2 touchdowns, and I'm then going to I think I'm going to take the over on this as well. So I think sorry. I think that Philly is definitely going to dominate the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is just complaining for the sake of complaining. Well, folks, we're going to go to a quick commercial break just real fast. But when we do come back here, college football is going to be next. We're going to run through that, and then we're going to get ourselves out of here. So go eat some early turkey. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. And welcome back, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. I'm still Andrew Valentin. Unfortunately, Drew had to use the little boys' room very quickly, so we are back here, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, just saw the man run back here. So, folks, we are back here. Obviously, if you catch you up to date, we just talked about the Bears. We talked about the NFL. We did our pick six. We did the recap. Back with me, of course, is Drew Willem. Feeling better?
Oh, man. It's starting to hurt.
Code yellow here, ladies and gentlemen. Code yellow. But Drew,
what you got to do.
Absolutely. But Drew, it's time for college football. Are you ready to do it?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, then let's do it, folks. So let's put the recap up there for everybody out there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to look at the past week for week 12 of the college football scene. These are the top 10 games for the week. So, Drew, obviously some fun ones up here, some very surprising ones. But, Drew, the top 10 games and any not mentioned, what has been like your biggest, big matchups, big surprises, any not mentioned on here that you liked as well? What are your thoughts?
Tennessee losing Hendon Hooker to a torn ACL.
God.
And then just getting spanked. It sucks.
6 touchdowns.
It sucks.
Spencer Rattler's supposed to be bad.
Yeah. Heisman hopeful, and it goes down like that.
It's a shame.
Yeah, you never want to see it. It's too bad.
Not to mention the millions that he probably lost now from a potential draft possibility.
I think his draft position will still be.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll hurt him too much.
No.
ACLs, players come back.
Absolutely.
All the time
it's not as hard as it used to be.
Right. It would have been nice if Ohio State would have lost to Maryland, giving up 30 points to them. I think Michigan can do something. Okay. Except for Michigan only putting up 19 points. Illinois has a very good defense. They came to play.
I said this would be a hard game. I thought for them,
and it was tough. It was
came down to the wire there.
It was nerve-wracking.
I didn't want to text you because I didn't want to nervous you because I didn't want to get bullied on my phone. But I was thinking about you a lot, being like, oh, he's probably like ready to put his foot through the TV.
Blake Corum getting hurt, that's a huge loss.
Yeah.
Huge loss. You could tell how much pain he was in at the end of that half when he went down and lost the football. So
yep.
Hopefully that things get worked out there and he's going to be fine to play.
Absolutely.
TCU doing their thing again, squeaking one out, putting up some points, but
that had my heart racing for TCU. Jeez, that was, well, not just for TCU. There was obviously other opportunities that could have been had if they would have lost the game. But, it is what it is.
Don't bet against TCU.
I
tried telling you.
No, I know. I didn't think it would be that close. I honestly didn't.
Right.
But any others, Drew, please.
USC getting back to their winning ways.
That was such a good game.
And
that was such a good game.
Again, squeaking one out there.
There's 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, whatever that Caleb Williams had. Dorian Thompson-Robinson had another 6 touchdowns. That by far was one of the best college football games I've seen all year. By far. That was incredible. Right there with Tennessee, Alabama, and obviously LSU, Bama. I mean, come on. That was incredible. But that was one hell of a game, and I think that helps to prove USC and push. And obviously why they're getting the push now to be now number 6. So that helps them a lot. Cameron, I know you may not be watching, but I just want to let you know. Vanderbilt? You lost to Vandy? Come on, man. Come on. They're the drugs of the league. Obviously not anymore, but, I mean, geez. The Georgia one was interesting. They had no offense going, and if it weren't for a couple of big plays from their run game, they weren't winning that game, it almost looked like, but they snuck it out against Kentucky. Was really surprised by that. The South Carolina, Arkansas, and Georgia Tech, 3 teams that were unranked that beat ranked teams. I can't believe what I saw from those teams. They played absolutely incredible. And who knows? Maybe Lane Kiffin is going to leave Ole Miss now and go to Auburn. It's all very possible. But yeah, I was thinking about you the whole time watching that Michigan-Illinois game. But I will say that was a good game. And folks, it was an unfortunate flag. It comes through. It happens. I don't think they were just trying to get Michigan to be undefeated against Ohio State. Yes, it looks a lot better now, but I mean, I don't think there's any conspiracy there. Let's drop that, okay? Please. Unless you believe it is. I don't know.
No.
Okay. All right.
Not.
Let's get to the pick six.
I'm not into the whole conspiracy with sports things.
Yeah, well, I try to stay away from conspiracy theories in general. More so than anything when I've now officially met people that don't believe dinosaurs exist. We're not gonna get into that. That's for a whole nother podcast. But the pick six, Drew, +1 though. I'm putting a +1 on this because this is rivalry week. There could have been 12 games on this thing. Yeah. But there's some I think that are just gonna be closer than others. But Drew, are you ready to do this?
Yes, please.
Let's do this one, folks. So
I won't even give you a hard time about Michigan not being the number one first game.
I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm not
in the middle.
What am I gonna do? It's by the structure of the schedule and how everything falls. Don't blame me. That's ESPN. Okay? All right.
Damn you, ESPN.
Well, Thursday, if you're gonna watch some NFL, watch some college football because Mississippi State's playing Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl. It's always a classic. It's always a good one. Mississippi, though, is only favored by 2 points. The over-under's at 61. Mike Leach versus Lane Kiffin should be a fun one. Drew, who are you picking on this one?
I'm taking Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss.
Okay.
I think, it'll be fun. I'm going to say 3 points.
Okay.
Like a last second field goal, maybe.
Okay, but down to the wire.
Yeah, down to the wire. Fun game.
All right.
A lot of points. Take the over.
Okay, taking the over. I like that. I'm going to take Mississippi State, I think. Ole Miss is kind of hitting a little bit of the bricks, it feels like. And Mike Leach has
been known to get off the schneid.
Yeah. Mike Leach has known to put up some points with his offense for sure. And look, Will Rogers, I think, is still a very good quarterback for Mississippi State. So I'll say Mississippi State I'll take them by 5. And I definitely think this hits the over. There's going to be points scored. So, but I think Mississippi State can pull this off. Now we get into the Saturday games. Now we start off with a little bit of a nice taster, if you will. Or excuse me, no, this is the Friday game. I'm sorry. Nice little taster for you. Tulane and Cincinnati. Conference rivals at this point, if you will. Tulane's been having a good year. Cincinnati's kind of had a nice little bounce back after struggling a little bit. But Cincinnati only favored by a point, and the over-under right now is at 46.5. So, Drew, who are you going with on this one?
Well, you know how we say don't take our bets? This is a good example of that because I don't think I've watched a second of either one of these teams.
Okay.
So
I had a tough one to call, I know.
Yeah. So we're just going to take Cincinnati.
Okay.
We're going to take them by... Oh, let's just get tricky and say 1.5.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Ooh. Getting spicy with it, I see. All right.
A little extra half point.
All right.
And screw it. Let's go over.
All right. I like that. I'm going to take Tulane on this. I've watched a little bit of both of them. They're very good teams on both sides. Number one, I like the Green Wave. I just like their mascot, number one. And also, I feel like they've got good momentum going their way. So I'll say Tulane. I'll say by 3. And I will take the over.
Isn't Darnell Mooney from Tulane?
He is. He absolutely is. As was famous running back for the Chicago Bears, Mr. Matt Forte. Whose actual jersey hangs in the rafters, if you don't know, of the wonderful Superdome for the Tulane Green Wave.
Yeah, and you look at him being drafted, you're like, Matt Forte out of Tulane. Why did they draft him?
Second round pick. Everybody was like, what? Who is this dude?
Matt Forte, Tulane?
Yeah. Meanwhile, we
worked out.
Yeah, we all fell in love with the man. We all fell in love with him. At one point, he was the Bears' leading receiver and rusher.
Oh, man. God, that's right.
Those were rough days, folks. Those were rough days as Bears fans. But we respect you and love you all the same, Matt Forte. You are always dearly within us. Even if you did play with the Jets at the end, right? It was the Jets, I think it was. I don't know. It doesn't. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Bad Jets, like the Christian Hackenberg Jets. They were the terrible Jets. So. Yeah. I got a woof out of TJ in the back there.
Yikes.
All right. Let's do this. The big game.
Oh, boy.
It is. Wow. I can't believe it was a noon game, but I get it. The Pac-12 contracts make it damn near impossible. But what a hell of a noon game.
11 our time.
11 our time. That's right. Number 3, Michigan. Number 2, Ohio State. It goes down, man.
It does.
It goes down. Ohio State favored right now by a touchdown and a half. The over-under sitting at 46. There's a lot of factors in this, of course. We know that. But Drew,
Yep.
who you picking with this one, my man? Is there such things as stupid questions and dumb questions? Because there might be. But I have to ask the question.
You actually wanted me to respond to that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Right. Oh.
Just so there is a verbal cue for those that may not be able to see us.
You need my verbal commitment? Okay.
Those that can't see the beautiful hat that you currently wear upon your wonderful head.
Well, never, ever. I don't care if Michigan is 0-11, pick Ohio State team over the team I root for.
Okay.
This is all here, some there too, because obviously Michigan's a really good team too.
Absolutely.
Okay? They have a very good defense.
Yes.
All the way around.
Absolutely.
Ohio State has a ridiculous offense with ridiculous receivers, and they're going to be tough.
Yes.
They're going to get theirs. They're going to put up points. It's who steps up big at the big moments, end of the game, getting that stop on third down to make them punt instead of it leading to an extra 3 points or an extra touchdown. Those big moments in the games. And Michigan has the defense to do those things.
Okay.
I don't think Ohio State does.
Okay.
As far as offense goes for Michigan, is Blake Corum going to play?
Yeah.
Not having Blake Corum in this game, healthy and running the way Blake Corum does, is a big loss.
Yeah.
Huge loss. I would love for them to be at full strength. Donovan Edwards as well, because that 1-2 punch. You can even have both those guys on the field at the same time.
Yes, you can.
I like what I've seen more out of this passing game from Michigan. It looks like they've been opening it up somewhat more, maybe out of necessity, just not having as much of the running game punch with guys being injured and being out.
Right.
I think they can do it. I think the defense can slow them down, and they're going to do it.
Okay.
Because screw Ohio State. I just wanted to flip the camera off so bad as I say screw Ohio State, because there's a deep, deep hatred and passion for disliking that team so much.
It's over 110 years of history between these two teams.
Burn in hell. Burn in hell.
What is a Buckeye anyways? It's a hairless, poisonous nut.
Well, it grows into a tree.
Well, yeah.
They're cool trees.
Yeah, they are cool trees.
It's a cool tree.
But the nut itself is not anything to be pleasant about.
Ooh.
I've seen the necklaces the people wear around there.
Oh, wow. You're a nut, and I have too.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool story, bro.
Exactly. Look, these two.
With all that being said,
yes.
I'm going to take Michigan.
Okay.
It's going to be close.
Okay.
I'm going to take Michigan by 1.5.
1.5.
1.5.
Okay.
Real tight.
All right.
I'm going to go under.
Okay.
I don't know how great I feel about that.
Yeah.
But I think Michigan's defense is the factor in that. They can slow them down enough to keep them not at their typical high point range.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Michigan comes out with the win. And I'm happy on Saturday.
I hope you are. I do hope you are.
Otherwise, I might be breaking stuff.
Jeez, not in here, please.
I won't be here on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you won't be here Saturday. Well, don't have the cops call on you. That's all I say.
Deal.
I know that from what I understand, I guess in this game time, in Columbus and both Ann Arbor is when they can get some phone calls of domestic disturbances, if you will, where apparently fans lose their mind. Win or lose, they just cause mayhem. Yeah, absolutely. And drinking booze. Yeah. I'm going to stick with Ohio State. I'm going to say Ohio State by 6. I think it'll be a close game. And I actually like your pick of an under because I think both of these teams are definitely gauging up to play each other as hard as you can. I think the defining factor not only will just be Blake Corum, I think will also be J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy's played pretty well down the line here. He's been doing better. But I think now is when you're going to need him to really step up with Ronnie Bell and all these other receivers they have to make plays, because they know the run's coming. And I'm sure Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum or whoever else they have running the ball will have their moments. But Ohio State can score so quickly and in so many bunches that it could become a problem where Michigan says, okay, now we need to throw the ball. Now we need to really get behind it. So you're going to need McCarthy to be ready to make that play. And I think he's a quarterback that has that ability to make that play. You know, and Talia, I think, is not too far. JJ's not too far off, I think, from being where Talia is at right now, Tagovailoa. And Talia Tagovailoa is a pretty decent quarterback. And I think JJ could actually be even better than him for sure. I actually think he could be one of the best quarterbacks they've seen since maybe good old T. Brady, possibly. He's got the arm and the talent for it. But I think Ohio State just has a little bit too much in front of them right now. Marvin Harrison Jr. is insane. CJ Stroud has all the great connections with him and all these other receivers. So I like Ohio State by 6, but I will say the under. I think this may be like an overtime game where it comes down to a touchdown to win it. This is going to probably be an incredibly good game.
What's it like to be wrong again?
I don't know. I keep picking LSU to lose, and they keep winning. So right now, I kind of like it. I kind of actually like it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It should. I can't wait for Saturday. I really can. It's going to be so much fun. All right, next. Surpriser.
I don't really care from here on out.
Yeah. We've got Coastal Carolina at James Madison. Playing each other.
I watch them every week.
I know, yeah. The reason I put them on there is because Carolina, obviously 9-1. James Madison's lost a couple games. But Madison is favored by 2 full touchdowns in this game. The over-under's at 54. I know, Drew, you just said you haven't watched these two teams. But from your perspective, where these two teams are sitting at right now, who are you picking for this one?
Straight up James Madison.
Just because you want to break my heart, don't you?
By 21.
Okay, it's just because he wants to hurt me. I see how it is.
And we're going over.
We're going over. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go Coastal Carolina because the greatest college quarterback of all time, Grayson McCall, is going to score some touchdowns on this one. I think they at least win by 7. I'll say at least by 7. And I definitely think this hits the over. Both these teams. This could be a fun game for those that want to watch it. I know it's a small team thing, but that's when you can maybe get... Listen, SMU and Houston gave you something to watch, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying it's going to be that, but this could still be a fun game to watch, put up a lot of points. All right, next. We got...
Crap.
I knew it was coming. Number 15, Notre Dame. They're taking on...
Number 15, crap. We're at number 6, USC.
USC, yes. USC right now favored by 5.5. The over-under is at 64.5.
Higher.
Drew, who you pick? Okay, go for it. By all means, crap all over crap team USA.
The correct question would have been, how many points are you taking USC to win by?
How many points are you taking USC by?
10.
Okay.
Let's go with 10.
Okay, all right.
We're not going to go overboard.
Yeah, okay.
USC by 30.
USC by 30.
Yeah, USC, but we'll take 10.
Okay.
They're looking good. They're looking like they belong. They're trying to make a push to hopefully have a couple teams lose maybe and drop out of the playoff race. And they're a potential team to jump right up into one of those spots.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to take USC, and I will take the over.
Okay. I listen, I think if USC wins this game, they have a good shot to jump right into that 4 because they're going to be an 11-1 team then. That challenges whoever else is going to possibly be 11-1
right
at the end of the week then. So that's going to be interesting. I would take a USC. I'm going to take him by 17.
Whew.
I don't.
I like
Tom, come on, man.
I like it.
Look, by the way, I didn't realize that man in the bag there is also a Notre Dame fan. Also a Florida fan, too. We didn't know that. But TJ roots for the Irish.
I know.
I know. Well, you said you had family that worked there, correct? That is correct?
My aunt actually taught there.
Yes. So that's the connection.
He's a fan out of obligation, not because he wants to be.
Right, exactly.
Wait,
so it's bloodline with him. With Tom, it's just...
Why would you choose to be a Notre Dame fan?
I don't know.
God.
If I wasn't a Notre Dame fan, the Nuns would beat me up.
Ooh.
That's also fair, too. That's fair, too. You don't want to piss off the Penguins.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I've learned. Don't piss off a Penguin.
Beating with a wooden stick.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I've seen Blues Brothers enough. I know how it goes. Yeah, USC, I'm taking them by 17. I just think that Caleb Williams has just shown that he's one of the best quarterbacks. I think he should finish at least third for the Heisman. Next year, he's probably going to win it. I can tell you right now, Stroud's going to win the Heisman probably, and then Caleb Williams.
Not when Blake Corum runs all over him on Saturday. Kills him.
You know what? I hope a running back wins
run for 200.
It's about time a running back finally wins the Heisman for once in a. What's it been? 10 years? 15 years?
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Oh yeah, Derrick Henry won it. That's right. So it's a few years. And then, yeah, I'm taking the over on this. I think USC is going to put up some numbers. If they did that against UCLA and they've done that against other teams too, I don't expect anything different. All right. Last few games, just real quick ones. We got Kansas against Kansas State. Number 12, Kansas State. Kansas State, though, only favored by 1.5 on this. The over-under is at 62.5. Two teams that really know how to throw the ball and shoot it out. So, Drew, who are you picking with this one?
I'm going with State. They showed it all year long.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though they're 8-3, they've looked good doing it.
Absolutely.
So I don't think. I think that it'll be a good game. Rivalry game in state should be fun.
Yeah.
Should be fun because Kansas has been much better than anyone had ever really thought.
Absolutely.
So, I'm going to say 6 points.
Okay.
And let's go over.
All right. I like that. I'm gonna take Kansas State. Sorry, I screwed that up. It was 11.5 points. Kansas State is favored by. I can't read my own handwriting. That's my fault.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize.
I'm gonna take 2 full touchdowns.
Okay, 2 full touchdowns. Okay, sorry about that, folks. My apologies. I think I'm gonna take Kansas State, but I think I'm only gonna take them by. I think I'm gonna take them by 3. Because this Kansas team, by the way, has scored 30-plus points multiple times throughout the year. They get their quarterback, Jalen Daniels, is back, and he looked pretty good. So I think between the two of them, you're going to see – I think Kansas State wins it, but I think they only win it by 3, and I definitely think this hits the over. I think these two teams blow themselves out of the water, and then David and Tyler regret not putting them in our 11-leg parlay to win $30,000. All right, and
you guys are killing it.
Yeah, I know. We've how rich are we? The money we could have won.
You're killing your bank account.
Yes, we are. Yeah. Well, we take turns, so
that's good.
That's the plus side of it. All right, and last but not least, we've got number 13 Washington. They're taking on Washington State. It's a classic rival for them. We found out it's the Apple Cup is what it's called. This is Washington being favored by 2, just 2. The over-under's at 60. Drew, Washington State, who are you picking for this final one for the pick 6 plus 1?
I'm going Washington. Penix Jr. He's done it all year.
Absolutely.
Coming over from Indiana. We've talked about it many times.
Yep.
This dude, he looks good at Indiana for majority of the time.
Yes.
Came right over and then has looked even better. So I'm going to take Washington. I'm going to say 6 points.
Okay.
And we are going to go over again.
Okay.
Over. So let's see lots of points in these rivalry games.
Absolutely. I'm also going to take Washington. I'm going to take Washington by, I'm going to say 8 in this one. Because like you said, future backup quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Michael Penix Jr. I would hope so. That kid looks perfect for Justin's backup, I would say. He looks fantastic. Although Cameron Ward for Washington State has looked very good too. If you haven't seen him, he was the star at Incarnate Ward last year. He transferred over to Washington State and has still looked very good. And I would say if you got one more year, man, stick out because he could definitely be a first-round draft pick. He has that ability. But Washington by 8, and I definitely will take the over on this. It's going to be a high-scoring game. And folks, that's going to do it for the pick 6. For the NFL and for college, and of course talking about the Bears. And that's going to do it for this show, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you all enjoyed watching this one. I hope you all enjoyed listening to it, whatever you were doing. As always, Drew, it's always a pleasure to have you on, man. I was glad to finally, especially this week, of course, more than anything, you needed to be here. So
big week.
Absolutely, big week. But I'm always glad to have you here, man. It's always good to talk sports with you.
Always.
Please let the people know where they can find you, listen to you, all that good stuff, amigo.
Oh, right here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, doing the usual thing. And you can check me out on Instagram at d.gwil25 and Facebook at Drew Gwillem.
Absolutely.
And go blue.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure to go follow Drew. Give him all your love, especially if you're a Michigan fan. Get him to root on. If you're an Ohio State fan,
will them to victory.
Send them all your hate, please.
Hail to the victors.
Hail to the victors.
Hail.
Hail.
Hail to the victors.
Yes, I have heard the song many a times, trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, they play it every time they score.
Yes, they do. And by the way, Jake, no, I don't think I'm Elon. Our guy Jake Bradley commenting, he's like, Andrew has the Boom Crew working today. Who is he trying to be? Elon Musk? No, because I don't buy things and then break things. Do I? That you know of at least. But also, I don't spend $44 billion on stupid social media. That would be idiotic.
I'll just take $1 billion.
Yeah, I'll take the one.
I don't even need 44.
I don't know why he spent 44. Yeah. I could have taken part of
just
that.
Give me like $1 million of that 44 billion. You won't even notice it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. You got too much money.
Everyone's
man.
happy.
Too much money. Yeah, so guys, no, Jake, stop it. Real quick too, before I give all the social media stuff, we didn't mention it yesterday. Some of you guys obviously emailed us about it. Our prayers and condolences go out to the players who were killed at University of Virginia. Obviously, it's a very tragic event to those that were harmed as well. They were football players, yes, but it doesn't matter. They were still people. They deserve the respect that they should be given. So I wanted to make sure that, because I know you guys were emailing us, asking us to talk about that situation and everything. We had a lot of stuff to get through. I wanted to kind of talk about. I know this is kind of a rough thing to do, but I want to say to Devin Chandler, LaVale Davis Jr., and Deshaun Perry, the three men that were lost, our hearts and prayers are with your family, with your friends and everything, and our love goes out to you as well. May you rest in peace also. So I just want to be able to throw that out there for everybody. Real quick, though.
Senseless acts need to stop.
Absolutely. As well as to those that lost their lives in Colorado, too, with the shooting that happened at the nightclub. Our prayers and our thoughts goes out to you. Hopefully there can be something can stop to this violence. But aside from that, folks, if you want to follow me, I'm at The Fluffy Guru on Twitter. I'm also at The Boom Crew Captain on Instagram as well. If you want to follow more of our show, you can find us on the Facebook side of things, facebook.com/TeamXBombSports. You guys can also find us on the YouTube page as well, youtube.com/XBombSports. You can find us there too. We go live every Wednesday and Thursday, 5:30 to 6:30. Not this Thursday, though, because Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we will be off. So be aware of that.
Chowing
Away with our families. I will be having 3 Thanksgivings in a row because my family is just ginormous. But with that also to be as well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to follow us on our social media at XBombSports on Instagram and Twitter. And any questions or comments, xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. We appreciate all those questions you guys have been throwing our way. So we do appreciate that, guys. Also, too, make sure as well to follow us on follow our boys at Blow the Whistle. We just went live today. We had TG on, in fact, and we did a quick 1-hour show. You can find us on sportssoundchicago.com every Monday, usually 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time. You can also find the show stuff. That'll be to be determined at some time. Also, too, check out our boy Brandon Janowski at 94.3 and Taylorsville. If you're going down south, hear him doing the country radio thing. Unfortunately, he won't be able to join us for the 2-year anniversary this Monday for Blow the Whistle, but he does wish us the best, and he says congratulations to us, so thank you so much, Brandon. But also, too, check out his podcast, Baseball Banter with Brandon, where he talks about everything going on in baseball. That's on Spotify. And while you're on Spotify, you can also check out Monday Motivation with Hannah B. It's a wonderful podcast to get yourself motivated and upbeat. You can also check her out at 102.3 XLC, The Afternoon Drive, doing her thing on the radio as she's getting popular and famous and getting all of these sponsors. Jesus, she's all over social media now. And also, too, you can hear at 96.7 The Star doing the morning show with Eddie Volkman, the legendary Eddie Volkman. And also, too, check out our boys at theparlay.com, Tony Lopez and former Chicago Bull and professional boxer Kendall Gill, as they talk about boxing, MMA, and all combat sports that are needed. And finally, if you need any help for your fantasy football needs, while fantasy football is still going down, check out the Fake Football Guys on YouTube. Got all the tips and tricks that can help you guys out throughout the rest of the season. That's Fake Football Guys on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Eat a lot of food, watch a lot of football, have a lot of fun, and we will see you guys next week. And as always, much love Peace out, Boom Crew.
Burn in hell, Ohio State.